It's the Wilk Report. I'm Michael Wilk, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio, with a bit of good news, actually, after a few videos where I've been kind of a downer, so I'm going to try and report something that's a little bit more uplifting here. Actor Ahmed Best honored at Star Wars Celebration with a standing ovation. So let's go ahead and get to the news article here from sci-fi.com, or sci-fi as I pronounce it because it's so freaking pretentious. But yeah, it says Star Wars Daily, once shunned Jar Jar actor Ahmed Best gets a standing ovation. So, in place of Star Wars Weekly, the Sci-Fi Wire series that rounds up the most important news of the week from a galaxy far, far away, we're doing daily roundups from Star Wars Celebration. We're still your own personal Star Wars holocron, just more frequently this weekend. And this is from April 15th, so yeah, a few days ago. The Phantom Menace at 20. The Phantom Menace came out 20 years ago and launched the very first Star Wars Celebration held in Denver, Colorado in 1999. It makes a lot of sense, then, that Celebration Chicago 2019 would end with a look back at that iconic film and the muddy party that was the original Celebration. Host Warwick Davis brought out 4 luminaries who worked behind the scenes on those movies: John Knoll, Doug Chiang, Matthew Wood, and Gene Bolt, and let them explain some of the, or maybe Jean Bolte, I don't know, and let them explain some of the secrets behind the Phantom Menace. The tidbit that needs to be reiterated most came from ILM guru and Photoshop co-creator John Knoll. The Phantom Menace, he told the audience, was the biggest production of physical models ILM has ever done, which is to say that the film spent a long time being referred to as an overindulgent CGI fest. It was actually the most robust model movie they ever made. After half an hour passed with these 4 brilliant minds, Warwick Davis brought out the acting talent behind the film in pairs. First, Ian McDiarmid, Darth Sidious, and Ray Park, Darth Maul, and then Anthony Daniels, C-3PO. And finally, Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks. The biggest reaction came for Best, though. He received an extended standing ovation, and then the crowd began to chant his name. The vibe in the hall was electric with positivity and love for a man who was so bullied for his role in the first years after the movie that he contemplated suicide. He asked the crowd to stop, though, lest he break down in tears. And here he is on Twitter. I'm overwhelmed with the love and support I got at today's Star Wars Celebration Phantom Menace panel. It was very difficult not break down in a puddle of gratitude tears. Thank you, each and every one. Your love is felt so greatly. I have to say, I'm tickled about this because I never understood the hatred that Jar Jar Binks got from Star Wars fans over this, or for Ahmed Best, who simply, he was hired to play a role, okay? And, I understood what the character was. He was a comic relief for that movie because, even though George Lucas, for reasons I still can't fathom, decided to shoehorn in C-3PO and R2-D2, but they were kind of like more in the background, whereas the movie needed an active comic relief, and Ahmed Best was the one who got stuck in that capacity. So I never understood it because, and I remember, a lot of the hatred at the time. They were saying Jar Jar was a racist caricature. And, it's like, guys, why don't you ask the actor who played him what he thinks of it? Because, I'm sure if he saw anything wrong with it, he wouldn't have taken the role. But he did, he was, and you couldn't even tell. And in fact, I couldn't actually tell initially that, when I first saw it in theaters, I couldn't tell that the actor playing Jar Jar was black because he just, his voice just, the way he did it, it just didn't even come across as that. And then what I learned later on, of course, who Ahmed Best is. And I was like, okay, but why all the hatred? I just thought it was so infantile. So I'm actually glad that Ahmed Best is finally getting some love here after 20 years. And, maybe because people are so upset over at Jar Jar Abrams and ruin Johnson over what they've done to Star Wars, Johnson especially, that, they're able to forgive the prequel trilogy a lot more than they otherwise would have. But, frankly, I'm pleased that he's actually finally getting some recognition, because Ahmed Best really did not deserve the hostility and resentment that he got for his role as Jar Jar. I mean, he took a role that was meant to kind of lighten things up in a movie that was supposed to be building tension and portraying this build-up of Anakin Skywalker as this great Jedi Knight, only to see him fall so far from grace and become Darth Vader, one of the most feared and evil people in the galaxy. And, and so I understood the role that Ahmed Best was playing and why it was created. But then for some reason, George Lucas felt the need to tone down the character. I mean, first he is toned down in Attack of the Clones, and then in Revenge of the Sith, you don't see him until the very end, where he's in the funeral procession for Padme. So, I thought Ahmed Best really got a raw deal from that whole experience. So just to see him get this level of love from fans after so long, I think is really touching. So let me know what you think. Do you agree, disagree, why or why not? I want to hear from you. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive notifications whenever we upload new content. And if you want to help support the channel, head over to our Patreon page or Subscribestar page. Help us keep the lights on, bring you more content. We can't do this without you. Until then, or until the next time, this is Michael Wilk for the Wilk Report saying, take care, good night, I'm out, and lots of love to Mr. Best.